Hello, today I will be talking about movie review number 1095. This is Scene Scene. Scene Scene is a 2024 movie that is directed by Great Kiridor, Kwedar. This is from A24 Films and Brad Bale Pictures, and I saw this movie on August 25th, 2024, AMC Newport on the Levee 20 in Newport, Kentucky. And I thought it was a pretty good movie. So, this is about Define G, who is in prison at Sing Sing Correctional Facility, which is one of the world's most infamous maximum security prisons, for a crime that he did not commit. And he finds purpose by acting in a small video group alongside other impersonated men as they attempt to stage their own original production, breaking the mummy's code. And this film basically is about several of the men that are in prison, some of them in prison for crimes that they have not committed, like Define G, for instance. And here is an interesting fact. Two of the people are played by professional actors, while Coleman Domingo portrays John or Define G. Whitfield, and Paul Racy portrays Brent Barrow, while some of the other inmates or some of the other people are actually played by real life people that were actually incarcerated at Sing Sing Correctional Facility. While Clarence Define I. Macklin portrays himself, let's see, David Odap Giode praise himself. Patrick Primy Griffin praise himself. John Adrian or JJ Farrellcrest is himself. And Sean Dino Johnson is himself. And then Sean San Jose also plays Mike in the movie. I thought it was a pretty good movie. And I like how in the movie, these men decide to have their own video group and decide to have and they decided to stage an original production, which was called Breaking the Mummy's Code, and this is based on ideas from all of the men involved. And in this movie, we see some of the men trying to not only act in this play, but also hoping that one day they will be free. And some of these men have been incarcerated for crimes that they have not committed. And Define G in particular is trying to get an appeal that might help him be free. Of course, due to the legal system, it is a little bit complicated. But while these men are being held in this prison, they're still trying to look out for one another and they want to act. They feel like acting in this musical group or video group gives them a little bit of a purpose. And I really like that. I like how the men decide to actually have this video group, and despite the obstacles and difficulties that this production is undergoing, or difficulties for some of the men trying to cope with the feeling that they may not get out of here, these men still decide to put on a show for people, and even though they're still being held in this prison, being in this group makes them feel like they're not, at least for some of them. And there's one guy in particular who I believe it was Clarence or Define I. Macklin, who has some dialogue with John or Define G. Whitfield, and actually, I like how in the beginning of the movie they weren't really like I would say friends, but near the end of the movie they're kind of like more friends than they were. And actually, this movie was there was actually a story. The story for this movie was actually well, a couple of people wrote the story for this movie, and Clarence Macklin and John Define G. Whitfield were actually part of the writing process for this movie, which was pretty neat. And this was also based on the Sing Follies, as this was an actual video group that took place at this correctional facility. So this movie is based on a true story, I believe anyway. Yeah, it was based on a true story, and like I said, some of the men that acted in this movie played themselves, who were actually incarcerated in this prison, and it is really tough and hard to imagine people being in prison for things that they did not commit. But I like how in this movie the men won't exactly, well, they kind of felt alone, but at least they had something to do rather than just sit in their cell all day. They had something to do that gave them purpose, to act, to be something that they want to be. Even if it was in a musical group or video or play, it gave them purpose. And I really like that. I hope you guys see this movie. It's pretty good. Colman Domingo really did a good job in this movie, along with the other actors that acted in this movie. Um, but yeah, this was pretty good. So that's my movie review of Scene Precinct Truth in this movie review. Alright, goodbye.